The Gift of the Magi is a heartwarming story about a young married couple, Jim and Della, who were financially poor but deeply in love. The story is set in a modest flat, where they struggle to make ends meet. Despite their poverty, they both wish to give each other a special Christmas gift, though they have very little money to spend. At the start of the story, Della, the wife, has saved up $1.87 to buy a present for her husband, Jim. She has been saving pennies for months by bargaining with local shopkeepers. But the money isn't nearly enough to buy something truly meaningful for Jim. Feeling desperate, she decides to sacrifice her most prized possession, her long, beautiful hair. Della goes to a local hairdresser, Madame Safrani, and sells her hair for $20. With the money from selling her hair, Della rushes to a store and buys a platinum fob chain, which is a perfect match for Jim's prized pocket watch. It is a beautiful, elegant gift that she knows he will treasure. After buying the gift, Della returns home and worries about how Jim will react to her new appearance. As she has cut off her hair, she hopes Jim will still love her, even without her long locks, and prays that he will appreciate the sacrifice she made for him. Meanwhile, Jim, the husband, is also planning a surprise for Della. Jim deeply loves his wife and wants to give her something special, but like Della, he has very little money. Jim owns a valuable watch that has been passed down through generations in his family. He decides to sell the watch in order to buy a set of beautiful combs for Della, which she has long admired in a store window but could never afford. Jim, too, sacrifices something of great value to give his wife a gift. He sells his watch for $21, using the money to buy the combs, which are made of tortoiseshell and adorned with jewels. Jim eagerly anticipates the joy Della will feel when she receives the combs, knowing how much she has wanted them. On Christmas Eve, Jim and Della finally exchange their gifts. When Jim sees Della's short hair, he is momentarily stunned. Della, looking somewhat nervous, explains that she sold her hair to buy him a present. She hopes he will still love her. Jim, after a pause, reveals that he has sold his watch to buy her the combs. Della opens her gift with excitement, but upon seeing the combs, she realizes the irony of the situation. She no longer has the long hair that would have made the combs perfect. She bursts into tears, but Jim reassures her, showing that he still loves her deeply, regardless of her hair. The couple's sacrifices reflect their love for one another. Their gifts, though rendered useless due to their mutual sacrifices, symbolize the depth of their devotion. The story concludes with the narrator drawing a parallel between Jim and Della and the wise men referred to as the Magi who brought gifts to the baby Jesus. Despite their apparent foolishness in sacrificing their most valuable possessions, Jim and Della are ultimately the wisest gift givers, for their love and sacrifice are the truest and most meaningful gifts of all. Through their acts of selflessness, O. Henry demonstrates the theme of love and sacrifice. The story shows that the most precious gifts are not necessarily those that are material or useful, but those that come from the heart and reflect deep love and devotion. The couple's sacrifices, though they result in irony and a sense of loss, highlight the beauty and purity of their love for one another, a sentiment that makes Jim and Della, in their selflessness, the true Magi of the story.